Thanks, Billy. Yes, super. So good morning to all the colleagues that have joined. As I mentioned before, we are live from Oslo and Geneva today, and we're really grateful that you decided to join this session from the Digital and Data Week of the IFRC. My name is Fabrizio Leone, and I work as Institutional Partnership Coordinator at the Norwegian Red Cross, and I'm joined today by three excellent colleagues. We have Christian Waffer, Head of the VR unit in ICRC, Abraham Doblado, Global Capacity Building Coordinator of the Security and Crisis Management Support Unit of the ICRC, and Toon van den Hove, Security Coordinator of the Norwegian Red Cross. We hope that you had an excellent week at the Data and Digital Week organized by the IFRC, and we are truly excited to guide you through this digital journey that took place in the middle of the pandemic with colleagues located in Bangkok, Belgrade, Geneva, and Oslo. And before we start, we would like just to share a few quick words. For NorCross, this is a story about movement cooperation, because we see in ICRC a strong partner for humanitarian innovation. For us, it is also a story of thinking outside of the box. Supporting the development of a virtual reality scenario was not exactly in our plans of action. It was not a strategic priority. And as a matter of fact, we sent our pledge to the ICRC just a few days before the expiry of a multi-year agreement with the Norwegian MFA. So it was not something long planned, but we saw an opportunity in this project and the potentialities coming from it to challenge the organization, a way of thinking, and to bring in the Norwegian Red Cross a new way of learning through virtual reality, to try out something that we haven't tried before. And finally, this is also for us a story about COVID-19. We were forced to remote work and home office, and that became an opportunity for us to see sort of the value of using a digital twin, virtual reality, to replace traditional in-person training. So said that, today we will have a dense agenda in the coming hour. We will show you, first and foremost, a short introduction to the rationale and the results of the VR project security field experience. We will give, through Christian, some insight on the development of the VR scenario to demystify what does it actually take to develop a virtual reality scenario in ICRC. We will show you a demo of the product, and we will also have a final Q&A. And during the presentation, feel free at any moment to write your questions, raise your hands if you have some question that you would like to be answered as soon as possible. And you're really invited to join actively and to come with your ideas, proposals, doubts, and questions on this. So, given some introduction about the rationale and the results, we think it's important to start from the what. What is this project about? It is, first and foremost, put simply, if I have to explain it to my 5-year-old cousin, this is a virtual reality training simulation that wants to improve the security awareness of the staff working in the Red Cross Movement in high-risk environments. This scenario, it is first and foremost about a field trip. There is a pre-departure briefing to sort of prepare for the field trip, and during the field trip there is an encounter with some armed guys at a checkpoint. Users joining the simulation can choose up to 5 characters. There is a team leader, there is a driver, and there are other team members both from ICRC, the partner national society, and the host national society. And there is also a 6th character, a trainer that has the sort of function to facilitate the session. We also would like to sort of focus on the how. How has this project worked? We launched it in December 19. It was a collaborative project. It is a collaborative project between the ICRC and the Norwegian Red Cross. The reason for choosing ICRC for us was more than natural. We know that ICRC has leading expertise in VR for humanitarian purpose. We have seen their products before. We love their products. We decided that it was the best partner to work on such a project. The project received funding through the Norwegian MFA. We used to have a global cooperation agreement between 18 and 20, and the sort of funding to this project was part of that agreement. We pledged to the ICRC 1 million Norwegian krona, equivalent to approximately 110,000 Swiss francs. And we managed to keep the donor requirements to the smallest level possible, because we wanted to make this partnership as agile as possible. And as I was mentioning, there has been collaboration across several cities and several countries that happened in the middle of the pandemic. So we had a plan. The plan was disrupted, and it gave us more ideas and creativity to sort of make it work. We would like also to sort of give a bit the details of the budget, because we think it's important for national societies that want to venture into VR. What does it actually take? Why did we spend 100,000 Swiss francs, which can be a considerable amount for smaller national societies? We spent our budget, a small part of it, for a consultancy. We spent 45,000 Swiss francs in software development, and this included research and development. We wanted to bring something that was new. We wanted to bring a multiplayer remote experience. Therefore, we wanted to sort of invest in research and development, not just in software development. And finally, we spent half of the budget approximately in hardware. We wanted to have high quality sets, and we bought sets for both the ICRC and NorCross, and that comes with considerable initial investment that is needed to sort of get high quality virtual reality training. What is the impact that we already can see from this project, knowing that it's just slightly than a year since its start? First of all, we were able to develop a remote multiplayer experience. This is one of the first virtual reality scenarios in the humanitarian sector that has this type of functionality. You may have seen other virtual reality simulations, and they're kind of binaries. You take decisions that are already sort of taken in the simulation. Here, on the contrary, we want to work with several people at the same time, and we want people not to be in the same room necessarily. We want to make the scenario open. It takes place in an open space, and despite having some broad storyline, we also want to keep alternatives and different type of storylines and training opportunities possible within the same scenario. We also wanted to make sure that the investment through this project would have benefited other projects. The VR team in Bangkok invested a lot of resources in research and development to deliver the product that NorCross and ICRC wanted to deliver together, and sort of the outputs of in terms of research, in terms of software that come from this project will also benefit other projects that the VR unit in Bangkok will deliver. And finally, we wanted to make a product that is accessible to national societies. What does it mean for us making this product as accessible? It means that the product is available on Steam, which is a known video game service. And to access this tool, we just need a key that we get from ICRC. We can download it on our laptop. We can play whenever we like. And if there is any update on the software, we will receive it straight away. After this very short introduction, I would like to give the floor to Christian Rofer to give some additional insight on the VR project and the technical aspects of it. Please, Christian.
Thank you very much, Fabrizio. So let me see if I can share a little video. I'll just share my screen. Easier. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk 10 minutes about the little bit behind the scene of the project. So this project is mostly built internally. So you can see on screens some of my colleagues in Bangkok working on the different products. So this is for virtual prison, but the same process. It's very important because this is pretty rare, let's say in the humanitarian sector, to see internal development team. Basically, my team is like a video game development company. We have the same type of profiles. We have 3D artists, we have animators, we have programmers, people coming from the video game industry and, well, doing the same job. We are using actually the same tools than the video game industry. I will mention this a little bit further. This is, for example, my colleague Berkem, who's programming. He loves doing the spaghetti stuff on Unreal Engine. And this is important to mention, I mean, this internal team, because it gave us a lot of flexibility. It gave us also a true control on the cost and the spendings and the different aspects of the project that, as we know, if we work from an external, with an external, company, budget can be very tight. As also the time frame can be very tight. Sometime in our projects, for various reasons, operational reasons, we can have no news from the client for maybe 2 months, and then we just put the project on hold and we do something else. We are constantly working on different projects. At the moment, we have 7 different projects for a team of 8 people in Bangkok and 4 people in Belgrade, Serbia. So as you can see, it's not a massive team, but we have like 6-7 projects at the same time. Also, we never really consider a project totally finished. We enjoy having projects, to be tested in the field, and then the project will be adjusted and improved. What you see on the screen is the first ever project we did in VR. So that was a partnership with the current Red Cross, the APDRC, and RCRC, and it was on a disaster scenario, an earthquake. And it's very funny. I mean, I was in a workshop in South Korea in 2018, organized by the current Red Cross, and we were talking about VR, and then so we just start talking and say, yeah, maybe we can do something, maybe we can help. If this is something that you would be interested. I had no clue at the time that we could do it, because mostly in 2018 and 17 and before, we were doing videos, so 3D videos, not at all VR, like interactive VR, like you see here on the screen. So it was a little bit, scary, because again, that was the first experience. And so we said, we know it's possible. We know that we have the tool to do it. We don't have the experience, so let's do it. And this is the first ever project. And this is a single player project. It's quite simple in the sense that we don't need to have other people joining in. There's no server. You just install in the computer and that's it. It's also scripted, so you have different things that are happening in the sequence. So and you are instructed by a voiceover to do certain things. You have, as you can see, some icons that you can press that would help you to guide you through the process. And this is really a project that is close to my heart, because it was the first ever. And it's also a project that's been fine-tuned over months and months and months. We added more languages later. It's now deployed in Asia, like in Nepal, in Mongolia, the Philippines. I will give you a link to the page of the current Red Cross later. And this is a project that's really, told us, yeah, we can do something like that. But there was also a time where I would say VR, as with the headset and all the equipment within RCRC, was not necessarily very popular. I probably perceive a little bit gimmicky, also because, well, we have trainers, we can have people are used to fly to training, to organize workshops, so the added value or something like that was not necessarily very obvious. Of course, to us, we can see that if you are in a classroom or a workshop, it might be very difficult to reproduce this kind of situation. Sorry. By the way, if you want to interrupt me to ask questions, please feel free. And the point was never to replace trainers, to take the human out of the training, but always to improve, and give more tools to real trainers. Now, of course, nowadays with the pandemic, the fact that you cannot travel a lot. Yeah, there was a shift recently on the type of project we are doing. There is a renewed interest for multiplayer, so having different people joining in. Could be VR, like the project we are going to show you that we developed with the NorCross, or more simple training simulations like multiplayer games where you are the first-person vision, so you see from the eye of the people what and you control your actions, like Call of Duty or Fortnite, whatever games you are playing. Because of course, to be able for a trainer to be sitting in Geneva and be able to join a team doing some kind of training, in different countries is a big added value. Now, also to talk about how we produce the tool. And I thought we had, in 2014, 15, 16, we had a partnership with a company called Bohemia Interactive. We were doing mostly videos using the video game Arma 3. We have a partnership with this company, so that was fine. But then when we wanted to do something more interactive, then we had to look for another solution. So we looked into the market, what was available, and there was different kind of graphic engine we could use. And we finally decided to go for Unreal Engine. This is quite important because what is interesting about this, and I'm not saying go and buy it because you don't need to buy it because it's free. You can register, you can do everything we do. You can create Fortnite, the same graphic engine, the same company, using Unreal Engine. And this is very important for us for two reasons. First, it reduced the cost of production. Second, everybody having Unreal Engine and having people able to use Unreal Engine can use what we do. So if we imagine, for example, in the future that we would make a coalition, like national societies will recruit people in the respective country, like a programmer here, a 3D artist, we can, like that, gather a very large workforce, international workforce, and work on something that is, again, free, that we don't need to invest into it. This is just the YouTube channel of Unreal Engine, and what is very interesting is that they are always improving the product, and they are always providing tutorial and guidance. So, for example, none of my team, nobody started to work with a big, deep knowledge of Unreal Engine. Some were, more used to other systems like Unity. So we had to start from scratch. And well, it's good with Unreal Engine is you have hundreds of tutorials telling you everything. So if you give a person with interest a bit of time, he will reach the same result as we do. Of course, it takes time, you have to learn and spend time. But again, it's not that we were top expert when we started and from the scratch. No, we had absolutely no clue, basically, how to use Unreal Engine. And what we can do with it as a tool with a bit of effort is pretty amazing. Again, it's not as simple as that. It required some training. But honestly, what you see on the screen here is 100% achievable with training and self-learning. And another part that is important is how can we, do we own all the copyright? Because if we produce something and we want to share it and to make it available for others, we have to make sure that everything belongs to us. Otherwise, we need to have to pay subscriptions and third-party stuff. This is not the case here. Everything we do, we own 100% of the copyrights. There is no string attached. So if we produce something and someone is interested, I can just send a link and there is no legal issues about that. And this is extremely important. And it might be a bit different if we use, different companies outside. Companies will probably, might give you better results than what we do. We are not, again, super expert. We have a small team. The difference is that the company are probably not going to share with you the source code, the programming, or the line of code. You get a product, not what is inside within the product. This is what we do. And this is also what makes the tool very powerful. This is an example of the development. So this is MetaHuman. This is going to be free. Now we have the beta. This is free. It means that soon our characters can look like that. And you can adjust. So we can create hundreds of thousands. And again, we won't have to pay extra for that. this is going to be included into Unreal Engine. And again, this is extremely important for us to keep the cost low. We already have to invest, in 3D in license for like Adobe products or 3D designs product, but it's not the case with Unreal Engine. Here we also have, in terms of scalability, we can go to, this is a website like called TurboSquid, and you can buy stuff that are mostly always compatible, might be sometimes needs some work, but for example, you can get this entire body for $2,400 US. Okay, let's say pretty expensive, yeah, but you buy it once and you can do whatever you want with it, and it comes with everything, skeletons, different organs. It's a lot of work. And then when you buy it once, and then you can do whatever you want with it. You want to do forensic, you want to do surgery, you want to do first aids, you can use that. And again, this website will give you, will sell you stuff like dragoons, yeah, right? But the character, buildings, and everything. And then with working, with this kind of third-party provider, you can always increase the speed of productions and explore and test and try stuff. That's it for my presentations. Thank you very much. I hope it was not too long.
Thank you, Christian, for giving us an insight on the history and the work that your unit has done. And that was one of the reasons why in NorCross we were also very interested in working with you. Before giving the floor to Abraham Doblado from ICRC to sort of give more reasons on why we decided to focus on security, we see that there is one question from Carl Minda that is to you, Christian. Can you use Unreal Engine on a regular computer, or do you need a gamer computer?
Well, it's a good question. So you need, because it's a graphic engine, you need a computer with a good graphic cards and reasonable, memory, and so yeah. I mean, it cannot work on a toaster. It cannot work like on like the normal RCRC computer, for example. Don't have graphic cards. Of course, it's 3D. We need the graphic cards, but you can, work and develop projects on pretty average setup. Might not be the best, but yeah, it's not very costly, especially now. It will run on a $1,000 computer, a gaming computer. It will be absolutely fine.
Thank you, Christian. Are there any other questions? If not, I give the floor to Abraham Doblado from ICRC to also explain why, as I was mentioning, we decided to focus on security and how this will fit, and not only the ICRC own security architecture, but also in terms of relations with the movement, potentialities for that, and so on. So Abraham, please, the floor to you.
Many thanks, Fabrizio. Hi, everyone. My function is capacity building coordinator within the SMS unit, the Security and Crisis Management Support unit of the ICRC, in charge of coordinating all capacity building related matters. I started in mid-2019, and as mentioned by Fabrizio, we started discussing this project in late 2019. To be honest, at that moment I was rather skeptical. I hadn't any concrete plan on what we could develop in terms of security training using the virtual reality. Thanks to a colleague of mine, Jafar Bishtawi, who pointed out the need to prepare our staff to prevent an hostage situation and to prepare them to face this kind of very tense and stressful situation, we started reflecting on a possible scenario. Now you can you can move. I mean, just press Fabrizio. Yeah. So I would like to start showing you the what we call the ICRC security training journey. Who we'll see is divided into 3 levels: the individual security, the collective security, and strategic security. I'm not going now to enter into detail about each of these courses that appear here, but happy to answer any question afterwards if you wish. So after our first iteration with Jafar and the VRT, the virtual reality team in Bangkok, and the Norwegian Red Cross,
Sorry, Abraham.
Yeah.
There is some issue with the audio, so may you try to.
Sorry.
Does it work
Apologies.
better now?
I don't know. You tell me.
Maybe your microphone is too close from your mouth.
Yeah. No. Usually it's the opposite, but now is it okay? Can you hear me? Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Fantastic. Let me know and if everything. Yeah. I think Catherine is. No. All right. So after our first iteration, and you interrupt me, please do so. I start thinking about this scenario, and I thought that this hostage simulation will exclusively fill a gap between the individual and collective security level. Namely, you will see here the onboarding courses, and after the collective is the courses that we provide to the managers, so they can coach their team and prevent and prepare the team as well for any security issues. We have a SIM training, you can see at the collective level, which is will consist on a simulation to prepare the delegation and their crisis cell to manage a critical incident, namely the death of a staff, an abduction, or when there are a need of an increase of humanitarian needs, and we have to send a search team, a rapid deployment sending team. So I thought that this simulation could somehow create a link between the individual security level and this specific course. However, the more we tested the different features developed by our colleagues of the virtual reality team, and the more we exchange to make the simulation closer to the reality, we soon realized that the security training opportunity offered by this VR environment were somehow limitless, and that I'm more than happy as well to discuss after you have seen what it is about. Indeed, we realized that all learning objectives pertaining to a humanitarian mission actually could be addressed from defining the role and responsibilities of the member of a team, the security rules, the preparation for a field trip, including the pre-departure briefing and the material and equipment needed, the objective and impact of the humanitarian mission versus the security risk, the specificities of the context, the stakeholder mapping, the movement and field trip procedures, the notifications, the telecommunication means, as well as the staff health safety measures. To be noted that all the topics that I just mentioned are part of the minimum security requirement that we have in place for all ICRC delegations. So it was honestly a discovery for me to see that, oh, okay, hold on, with a virtual reality environment, actually you can touch a lot of learning objective when it comes to training and to upskill our staff. So that was great, and actually I strongly believe that our simulation can address all these learning objectives. If you can move on to the next slide, Fabrizio. So here you can see the learning objective of the simulation. They are very, I will say, general, because each of the facilitator, each national society, each person actually or organization that would like to use this simulation can fine-tune it according to their needs. Considering the multiple security training opportunities, we decided to open the scenario so that the facilitators could also address in our scenario the negotiation skills when passing and crossing checkpoints. So we started from a hostage situation to as well a negotiation and a crossing a checkpoint situation. So you see here the learning objectives demonstrate knowledge, awareness of risk, appropriate behavior, self-awareness. I'm not going to further develop them now, but as well happy that to discuss them if needed. Important to note that prior entering the simulations, the participants receive several information, background information on fictional context, the role and the objective of the mission that they are going to carry out as a team, as well as guidance on how to navigate within the virtual reality environment. We also developed a facilitator guide divided on each phases of the simulation in order to reach the learning objectives. So now, if you ask me where this simulation could fit in our security training journey, I will say, and you can move Fabrizio, in pretty much all the courses of the individual security level, in particular the staff integration program and the security awareness and field experience, the SAFE 2, which is a new course or an updated one that we have developed, a blended course. We are currently developing it, and I will definitely see a huge potential to have the simulation into it. It could also constitute a relevant complement to the colleagues and teams we train at the collective level. And honestly, as I said, due to these multiple learning opportunities, I could add it almost everywhere. Also, at the strategic level, I think it will be very interesting to use this simulation to kick off an hostage simulation for our senior leadership. So basically, you have these colleagues, they feel what it means to go to the field and maybe to face this kind of situation, and afterwards to be taken as hostage. And what will be their decision that they will have to take to when the crisis mechanism is activated. As the supporting material allows any user to conduct this virtual reality simulation, it could be also used by the ICRC services, the métier, what we call the métier. I have planned actually to conduct some presentation with them to present this simulation, and the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, of course. We will as well present this simulation to the Security Focal Point network, who comprises several partnering national societies, and we exchange about security and crisis management. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over the floor to Fabrizio and Christian, and happy to reply to any question that you might have.
Thank you, Abraham, and thank you for showing sort of what is the added value for ICRC, but also hinting at what will be the potential for the movement at large. And before we finally show you the demo of the virtual reality, which I know is what many of you are waiting for, I would like to give the floor to Toon van den Hove, the security coordinator of NorCross, also to sort of explain what will be the value of such a product for a national society, like in the case of the Norwegian Red Cross. So Toon, please.
A very good morning to all of you. Some of you might already be in the afternoon. Yeah, I think what we have been over the past year has been stressing in the Norwegian Red Cross is a cooperation between the movement partners to improve for security in the field. So we started several years ago with a security focal point network in which we gather regularly with the ICRC and the IFRC and about 50 national societies, I think, to exchange information, to exchange tools, to exchange training opportunities. And I think this will strengthen our security among partners considerably. Because indeed, it is all where we came a long time ago on security, where we focused much on hardware and on kind of heart protection. I think we evaluated over the years indeed to say we have to understand the context, and there has to be an awareness with the individual but also with the organization. And to create that awareness, indeed, exchange of information and good training are important. I think also what in the past year, with the COVID epidemic worldwide, which limits our possibilities of physical moving to other countries, developing such a tool through which we can train over the internet while we are in different locations on the other side of the globe, I think is a benefit for the Norwegian Red Cross and will be a benefit for many other national societies who hopefully can have use of this product later on. That's from my side, Fabrizio. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Toon. So we see that there are a few other questions. We will answer to them quickly, and then we will jump into the demo. So one question, and this is for Abraham. When will the SCMS courses on security start?
Well, some were put on hold, but they all started, and we try to fill the gap digitally with some of our delegations. So we conducted this year a critical incident management course, a crisis management leadership seminar as well online. The SCM course, we are currently developing it to be available online. So that's probably the one for the manager that has been put on hold. With regard to the this course that I mentioned, the ICRC, we developed the SAFE one, which is a totally new digital course, which did not exist in the past. It's 3.5 hours self-paced, and is for all ICRC colleagues. We also offered some slots for security colleagues within national societies to have access to this SAFE 1 course. The SAFE 2 is the one that we are currently developing, and when I say that, actually, we already roll out the first 3 weeks online. So that we conducted sessions in Iraq, in Somalia, and in many other delegations, but we still need to finalize it because we were envisaging 2 days face-to-face, and now we will have to develop virtual classes, because we will not be able to conduct any face-to-face training until the end of September. So that is the instruction that we received. So that's the reason why we will as well digitalize these 2 days that were supposed to be face-to-face, plus an additional week back at work, so the colleagues or the participant can implement what they learned. So yeah, that's it. I hope that I answered this question.
Thank you, Abraham. And other questions very quickly, if there are other, and in part you mentioned this once already, if there are any other interactive training aids developed by ICRC for the use of the Red Cross movement at large, and then about this VR training, whether it's going to be run online or if it is going to be in other modalities. So please, to you, Abraham.
Probably Christian will know more about all the virtual reality trainings that other colleagues and units have developed. What can I tell you from our side, from our unit? We developed, as well with the support of the virtual reality team, a simulation that will come after this simulation, actually, but not with headset and all the hardware that we developed here. I will say a more simpler simulation that for the managers to, okay, you have your colleagues who have been kidnapped, and now how will you react? And it's a simulation with a a software, and they will receive a lot of inject, like breaking news and the families calling with role players and all that digitalized. We tested it, and that is something that we will continue to further develop internally, and hopefully to conduct widely with the delegations that need it. So that is one of the projects that we developed as well. This one, the strength of this project, what I really like, is this multiplayer aspect. Basically, what is amazing is that we were testing it. I was in Neuchâtel, one colleague in Geneva, Fabrizio and other colleagues in Norway, and Christian and his team in Bangkok, and afterwards in Belgrade. And we were exchanging together, conducting the simulation together, reflecting on the learning objectives, and yes, I can tell you, well, afterwards you have to feel it and to experience it, but it's very immersive. So we were somehow playing around, like joking and while developing it, but once we started testing it like seriously, and one of the facilitator playing the abductor, I can tell you that the reaction and the feeling of our colleagues afterwards was a bit for me it was surprising, because I was a facilitator, but when I saw their face, it was like, oh, okay, so that worked. So that's it. But yeah, we will test it. I mean, Christian mentioned that as well. It is not a handed product. It is a living product. So we will continue to develop it. I'm going to present it to our learning and development colleagues, and we will discuss together the facilitator guide. We will as well improve it. And the more we use the simulation, the more it's going to be improved. And we have the support of our colleagues from the virtual reality team.
Thank you, Abraham. So I'll give the floor to Christian if you have any other input. If not, I will let you run the show with the video. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think you can hear me, and I hope you can see the video. So I will start the video. It was recorded yesterday. So it's my own voice commenting from within. I might probably stop it. If you have any questions, just ask question in the chat box and we will answer. We can even switch on your microphone and talk. So we start the simulation in Steam. As we say, Steam is this free platform when people are buying, selling games, and it's very practical because this is where we have the project, and it costs only 80. I started it. That was stupid. It's only cost $80 to have your product placed on Steam. So this is, not very costly. Steam is free, and just putting your project on it with all the network infrastructure is for $80. So let's watch the video. So basically, you started. I think I was not talking at the time, so I can still talk now live. And the project starts, and it's automatic. You have all this part. You enter your name, so you are identified in the simulations. Okay, I don't even know how to write my name. Good. And then you have a short calibration. So you have to calibrate your device. Everything guides you step by step. So try to show you what to do. You have different options to host the game, to redo the calibrations. And then you can jump into the simulation.
Game is connected.
So let's jump into it.
So after we completed the calibrations and joined the server, we are in this big empty space. It's a kind of a lobby. This is a place where everybody will gather. So as you can see, Bratislav, Berkem, Milan and Bojan are here with me. Hello, Guy.
Sorry in advance for the camera movements. It's not very nice, but this is film within the simulation. So what you see is what I was watching in my VR headsets. I try to stay still as much as possible, but it's difficult.
And so Bearcam is connected from Bangkok. I'm hosting the sessions in Belgrade and Bratislava, Milan, and Bojana in Serbia. So we can connect from everywhere in the world via internet. So now what we're going to do is to select an avatar. So we have several avatars that are available to us. And now I will let first my colleague go and pick up one of the role for this simulation. So Bearcam will be the trainer. So he steps on this white square and now he changes his skin, I would say. To move around, then you can move with your feet, for a few meters, but you are limited in VR by the space you have in a room and the cable. So we use teleportation. So I just click one buttons and I can just jump. It's also helping with, let's say, motion sickness, because if you move too much in VR, you might get sick or dizzy. You have also a little panel here that will tell you a little bit if you don't remember all the different commands. So you have representations of your controllers and what buttons will do what. And you can always reset your avatar here. I'm moving my head very, very slowly because otherwise in the video it will be very difficult to watch. Here we have a control panel with to make sure that all the roles, the key roles are selected. One of the person is not, so we can have 6 people, only have 5 today, but we can still do the simulation. Now we'll press start and we'll be transported to the first step. Okay, in this first step, we are in this warehouse, but this time you have the car ready to be loaded. You have objects all around, and you also have a map where we can do a briefing. So this is a map we use for other type of exercise. It's very detailed, but here you can have a Google map picture. You can have whatever you want. It's not very important. So here we can have all the team together, and we can organize briefing and give instructions about what's going to be the mission of the day. So today we are going to go from one place A to B. It doesn't really matter. So I can pick up
just if
and I can, for example, indicate, okay, we are currently.
Yeah, just here, I think what is very interesting is that there is the participant and that they have to get organized. They have to communicate. They have to know what items they should take to the field trip. They should, based on the information that they have received, discuss about the security risk, because the scenario that we develop and the background information that we developed, open some spaces to invite the participant to reflect. If they don't communicate, if they took items that they shouldn't have taken, if they didn't ask questions about the security risk, all these points will be identified, should be collected by the facilitator, who will afterwards, during the debriefing, address them. So the strength of it is really what will come after the simulation is they do things, the participants, they do things, and afterwards we can build on the experience that they are living. Yeah, sorry, Christian.
It's okay. It's coming, all those points.
Then we have to get equipped. So now all my colleagues will go and start picking up different objects that they will load in their backpack. So we all have a backpack, so we can just grab it from our bags and we can load object inside. So by default, there is a passport. And other objects can be added inside. So let's go.
Just the technical details. As you can see, the position of the arms are a bit weird. It's because it's not a 360 system that will identify where the position of your hands are. It's something that if your hands are not in front of your your headsets, then the system won't detect them, and then you will see all kind of weird movements. That's why it looks a bit weird, but this is a trade-off between a much more expensive system like the HTC Vive, when you have like a room completely full of detectors that can see where you are and all of your hands, versus a system that is much cheaper, but with trade-off that sometimes it looks weird.
And get some objects in our backpacks. So here I'm exploring. So let's say I would like to take maybe a phone and just place it inside. Maybe I would like to take some medicine, maybe a tablet, why not? And the same happened to my colleagues. They are all taking different objects. We can also load the vehicle, door opens, with objects. So for example, I want to take this safety triangle. I can just turn around and place it into the car. I can ask a colleague to give me an object, for example. Bratislav, can you please give me one of the objects you have in your bag, or pick an object, so the bottle. Thank you very much. And now I pick the bottle and I can place it, and I can give, for example, Boyan the mobile phone.
Looks like nothing, but I can tell you this was a lot of work.
So we have this we call replication. It means when I do something, I can exchange, and again we can not only talk, but we can exchange objects. Then we can just move to this board here. This is an options where you have all the items that are in this warehouse, and you have the different team members, and we can see what they have in their bags. So some took money, some take phone. So the trainer can have an overview of the situation. It's not, maybe for some exercise you don't want to have that. So you leave, the choice, or you want to have some kind of a briefing where prior to departure, you can just, all go gather in front of this board and discuss about that. This training is all about role
play. So I will just, because the time is running out, so I will just move quickly to the part where we are driving. So basically there is then a cutscene when you're in the car, and you say that blah, blah, blah information, you are moving around, and then you appear inside of the car at the checkpoints. The first version, the car was moving, but then everybody was feeling sick. So we just start, it's a start and go and stop, and there is no movements within the...
That's the place where the incidents will take place. So we have the trainer there, Beckham, is now a bad guy with a gun. We have some characters that no one is playing on the roads. We are in the car, the colleagues are sitting in the back. I can pick up the radio, for example, if I want to make a call. But here, obviously, it might not be the best choice. So, okay, Beckham is here, and now we can role play like we will do in the normal thing. Hello, I'm Christian.
Stop the car.
Okay, we stopped the engine. It's okay, we are humanitarian workers.
Everyone get out.
Okay.
Let's get out.
Okay, so at this time, then the driver have the options to do certain actions, like reverse the car or do things like that are not very healthy. Also, he has the option to just exit the car, and everybody will get out at the same time. So you can just exit the car, and let's see what's going on. So now we are all outside of the vehicle and facing the guy with a gun. So here, well, I guess the logical things to do will be to put the hands in the air and to say something like, hey, hi, we are humanitarian workers. We don't carry weapons. Please, can you lower your gun? We are cool. Thank you very much. Can we put our arms down?
So now you see why RCRC is not sending me to the field anymore.
Fine with that? Okay, thank you very much. And now, again, we can, role play all kind of situations. We can, we see by the mouth is moving, so we see that he's talking to us. We can, again, role play whatever situation. So in this case, he will ask us, for example, to show what we have in our bags and empty our pockets.
What are you carrying? Put everything on the table.
Okay, so here we are just going to take our bags, and we are just going to place all the different objects we have on it. And of course, this can be, a way to do all kind of role play. What kind of objects, you took with you. It might be taking some of the things, taking the passport, not wanted to give back.
Time is running out. I'm just going to move a bit forwards. For example, you also have full body.
So finally shooting, maybe I will go down on my knees and take cover. So this is something I do by moving my body, in VR, and then putting my hand in the air, this kind of thing. So now I think we can just stand up because it's not very comfortable, but well, a simulation, if we will role play it, might not be always very comfortable.
Okay, I think I will stop here. I think you've got the things, the simulation continue until, it's decided by the trainer what to do with us, to let us go, to, kidnap one of us. So again, it's up to the trainer. Nothing is scripted. So the trainer can adapt to each group of trainees and fine tune the simulation. So yeah, I think I will stop here because there might be some questions.
Thank you so much, Christian, for showing an insight on the simulation. And what you've seen now in the simulation, it was just with basically Christian's voice. When you actually are in real time playing with it, you will hear everyone else speaking on top, which gives value to the simulation because it's about communication first and foremost. There is one question that is, what happens if we come across with a country that does not speak English? How can we secure our safety at that time? Because we don't have time to look at our translation book.
Okay, Jack can answer. That's something that was discussed with the security team, with Abraham teams, that, for example, the trainer might be speaking a language that only the one member of the team, like the driver, will understand. So we can role play whatever we want. There's no limitation. So again, it's part of each training team to design the training to be as accurate as possible.
Any other question, reflection, contribution?
So maybe just to mention something, I mean, if you compare to, the first ever project we did for the current Red Cross, when everything is, super, controlled, here, of course, this full body experience, it's something that will require from our side more work so that we make sure that there is less visual bugs. But again, it's part of a decision between the cost of the hardware you want to put and the impact on the training. If this is very disturbing for people, and after many tests, we discovered that it's not really the case. People might smile a little, but when you are in the simulations, you're engaged. You have to do stuff. You have to listen to the team leader and act. Very quickly, your brains just ignore this kind of little details. But as we move forward, this will be more and more stable. What is important for us, of course, was to create something that we can connect over the planet on a stable way, no disconnections, and that it won't, because this will really affect the quality of the training if you get disconnected halfway.
There is a question that maybe I can answer to from Arbab Shakar Khan. Basically, the simulation really opened the floor for all kind of situations, for all kind of interaction, and that's where the facilitator, based on the learning objective, can really improvise. You will have probably one group with experienced colleagues who have already go to the field, or even people who did already this simulation. What is interesting is that they can rotate. You will have as the function a driver, a nurse, a team leader. So you can have the participant rotate, and as each situation is going to be standing alone in the sense that in the real, as in real life, when things happen, they happen. Well, you can debrief afterwards. You can point out specific issues and things, and that will. The more the facilitator will be conducting this simulation, I think the more at ease they will be as well to identify learning points, to these points that that should be addressed with the participants, and to discuss. The mental health preparation is important as well, is an aspect that we will definitely develop in our debriefing. How do you prepare yourself mentally before going to a field trip, and what will be the right mechanism as well in terms of mental health if you were abducted? These kind of things you can afterwards debrief, and you can stop. As I said, the facilitator can stop the simulation at whatever moment. If actually the team somehow they start messing up and they really behave in a wrong way, putting them really at risk if it was a real situation, the abductor can have the opportunity to shot the gunshot up in the air and the simulation, and to stop the simulation, and afterwards to have a proper debriefing. So that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, Abraham. Since it's already past 11, we thank you for your participation. First of all, thank you to Christian, Abraham, and Toon for helping us in the presentation. Feel free to reach us out to these addresses if you have questions, and we'll be happy to answer you via email. We hope we will be able to let you try the product as soon as possible. And thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the Data and Digital Week of the IFRC. So have a great day, and talk soon. See you soon. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.